Robert Hale had always considered himself relatively healthy. At 58, he stayed active, didn't smoke, limited alcohol, and had never struggled with his weight. But one thing had become non negotiable in his daily routine: breakfast eggs. 2 fried eggs every morning, sometimes three. He'd been doing it for nearly a decade, paired with toast and black coffee, maybe a few strips of turkey bacon if he felt indulgent. The ritual grounded him. It reminded him of childhood, of his father's cast iron skillet, and the sound of eggs hitting hot oil. So when he saw the headline one evening, "New warning, daily eggs may raise heart disease risk, here's why," he almost didn't click. Almost. But something in the subheading caught his eye. New research suggests that consuming multiple eggs daily could contribute to elevated blood cholesterol and cardiovascular issues, especially in those genetically predisposed. His father had died at 61 of a sudden heart attack. Fit, strong, no history of smoking, but gone in an instant. Robert never forgot that call. Maybe that's why he finally clicked. The article cited a recent study from a major cardiology journal. Researchers had tracked over 30,000 participants for 2 decades. The data showed that individuals who ate more than one egg per day consistently had a higher risk of heart disease, especially when their diets were also high in saturated fats or processed meats. The concern wasn't just dietary cholesterol from eggs, it was the way eggs interacted with other factors like inflammation, genetics, and insulin sensitivity. It wasn't conclusive, the article said, but the trend was clear. Daily egg consumption in excess, especially more than one yolk a day, might not be as harmless as once thought. Robert frowned. He didn't want to believe it. After all, eggs were supposed to be healthy again. The 80s had demonized them. The 2000s welcomed them back. Who was right now? Later that night, he mentioned it to Karen, his wife, as they washed dishes. "I read something about eggs today," he said casually. Said eating them daily might raise the risk of heart disease. Karen raised an eyebrow. "You eat eggs every day." "I know." "And your dad?" "I know." She handed him a wet plate. "Might be worth getting your cholesterol checked again." The next morning, Robert didn't crack any eggs, just toast, a banana, and coffee. It felt strange, like something was missing, but he made an appointment with his doctor the following week. Doctor. Lenoir was a calm man in his 40s with a matter-of-fact tone Robert appreciated. "So, you're worried about eggs?" he asked, looking over Robert's chart. "Maybe. I read that new study, and given my family history, I guess I just want to be sure." Lenoir nodded. "Fair. Let's run a full lipid panel. Have you ever had a lipoprotein A test?" "No. It measures a genetically linked form of LDL cholesterol, not affected by diet much, but useful, especially with your history." Robert agreed. They drew blood, and he left the clinic feeling half silly, half responsible. A week later, the results came in. His total cholesterol was borderline high, LDL was elevated, HDL was decent. But the lipoprotein A number caught the doctor's attention. It was significantly above the healthy range. "This doesn't mean you're doomed," Dr. Lenoir said, "but it does mean your risk is real, especially if your lifestyle adds fuel to that fire." "Like eating eggs every day?" Robert asked. "Possibly. Eggs aren't evil. But for people with elevated LPA or other risk markers, daily consumption, especially with the yolk, might push things in the wrong direction." Robert left the office with a brochure on heart-healthy diets and a lot on his mind. He went home and opened his fridge. A full carton of eggs stared back at him. Over the next month, Robert made some changes. No more daily yolks. Once or twice a week, sure, but he started eating more oatmeal with berries, Greek yogurt with flax seeds, and even tofu scrambles when Karen got creative. He swapped buttered toast for avocado, cooked more with olive oil. It wasn't just about eggs anymore. It was about paying attention. He also started walking more, added a second blood pressure reading each week, listened to a heart health podcast during his morning commute. He even joined a virtual group for men over 50 focused on heart disease prevention. They shared recipes, science updates, and personal stories, some of which scared him into being even more proactive. What surprised him most, though, was how good he felt. Lighter, more energetic. No post-breakfast bloating, less mid-morning sluggishness. 3 months later, he returned for another checkup. His LDL had dropped, total cholesterol improved, blood pressure down by 10 points. His doctor nodded with a rare smile. You're trending in the right direction. Keep going. Robert still missed the smell of eggs in the skillet some mornings, but he didn't miss the worry. He didn't miss the lurking fear that he might go the way his father did, too early, too sudden, too preventable. One Sunday morning, Karen brought out a small plate with 2 poached eggs on sautéed greens. Special occasion? He asked. Sure, she said. Eggs aren't banned, just moderated. He smiled and dug in. The flavor was familiar, comforting. But now, it came with awareness. Robert learned something that year, not just about eggs, but about himself. Sometimes the habits we trust the most are the ones we need to question. And sometimes change doesn't mean giving up, it means waking up.